Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. This is Torrent Gardener coming up with another video. This is going to be a new old series. The reason why I say that is because um, we're back again with the 15 gallons grassroots flower pots where I plan to plant pepperoncini peppers. I'll be showing that in this video. But I'm saying new slash old because I did this 2 years ago where I didn't do a very good job of documenting everything. So hopefully this year I'm hoping to do a better job, especially because these are pepperoncini peppers. I really want these peppers to do well in my backyard. And I want to show you my documentation of growing it and fertilizing and all that stuff. And today is day one of transplant, I guess, because I grew them as seed at first, and then I transplanted into these containers, which you'll be seeing in this video. I forgot to do an intro, that's why I'm doing it like this. So anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoy this video of me planting these peppers, and yeah, let's get into the video. Thank you for watching. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're finally going to be in 15-gallon grassroots flower pot containers. If you see my previous video, the video before this, about 3 months ago now, I was trying to grow pepperoncini peppers in 3 different cells like this one, and grow 2 on each one. But I had to replant a couple of times because I let it die by accident, and now we're just left only with these 3. So luckily, we do have 3 of them for these 3 different containers. And if you don't know, these different containers have different types of soil. So this one's just my native soil, and I had 10% compost. I'm pretty sure there's no more compost in here, but I'm not sure. And this is my sandy soil, so basically sand that I just bought from the big box store. And this is my native soil with biochar. I think it's like a 80% mix and 10% native soil and then 10% compost. Again, I don't think any of these have compost anymore, so I'm gonna show you how I plan to plant these peppers in here. But either way, I wanted to show you guys something first, how I make my top dress. So I'm just gonna cut the video here and show you that. All right, YouTube. So here's the compost that I have. Um, Basically, this is compost that I was trying to amend last year. So basically, I put it in a trash can and try to let it decompose even more with some more compost materials. I also put some rock dust to hopefully give it more minerals. And I don't know how we can see it, but there's a little bit of biochar to hopefully charge the biochar with some minerals and other microbes. Um, because I do want a lot more biochar in here. I do have a half a gallon of biochar or charcoal, I guess, in here that I'm gonna add into this compost, just because I want more retention, water retention, and I don't think compost could be just enough. Plus, this is gonna be as a top dress anyway, so I'm not gonna be too worried with the biochar taking minerals from my soil or this charging up in my soil. Plus, I'm gonna show you how I watered it anyway. But either way, since biochar is really dusty, I am gonna use this dust mask that I bought to mix it in together. I forgot to mention that I have 5 gallons in here, so I put in about 10% of 5 gallons into a biochar into here. So a half gallon is uh, about 10% of compost. You can see it's really dusty, so that's why I'm wearing this dust mask so I don't breathe this in. It can be really dangerous if you're not careful. So if you're going to use biochar, please be careful around it. Otherwise, you might get black lung, or I forget the medical term for it, but either way, you could destroy your lungs just by breathing these small particles. And yeah, we're just gonna mix it. You can see that the compost I was trying to fix is a little bit dusty, so I have to water it pretty well once I top dress those peppers, which I'm gonna show you after I'm mixing this all together. Alright, YouTube, so you can see it's all mixed in together now. It doesn't look too much different than it did earlier. Like I said, I don't want to add too much biochar, but I want to add just enough so it can retain more water with the compost. Because compost retains a lot of water and is nutrient rich. So when I use it to help dress my peppers, it'll be great to feed them. And the biochar will just help retain water and help them survive the heat. So I do live in a desert climate, so I want to make sure it doesn't get too dry for them. So all right, now I'm gonna show you the next thing I'm gonna do to add to the soil. Okay, YouTube. So in here I have a paint strainer, a 5 gallon bucket, a paint strainer, and 5 cups of compost. So right now I'm making a compost extract instead of compost tea. I'll probably do that later this week. But in here, I basically have blended up aloe vera, and this is aloe vera that I grew from my front yard, so it's probably really good to use. And the good thing about aloe vera is that all these bubbles will help uh, the water seep in the soil better. So basically, it's pretty sure it's called saponins, if I remember correctly. But if it's not, then let me know. But another good thing about aloe vera is that it's a it's a great fertilizer for your plants anyway. So that's another good thing about it. Probably tie it a little bit higher. But yeah, it's a great fertilizer. It has a lot of minerals and stuff for your soil. But right now, I'm just gonna add the water and let it steep for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then start using it as my fertilizer. But before that, I'm gonna show you how I plant the pepperoncini plants. Okay, YouTube. So this is my native soil 15-gallon grassroots flower pots. Ideally, I would have liked way more plants. So basically, one plant each quarter, basically. So ideally, I would have had 4 plants for each container, but that's not the case. Um, I guess for right now, let's check the soil. There's purslane growing here. I'm pretty sure that's the weed seeds from my native soil. And it looks pretty dry. So I have to do like a deep watering on this container. And I'll probably show you how I do that. But until then, I'm gonna plant these peppers. Shoot, if I can get it out. There we go. Got a fly annoying me. So here's how this one looks like. The roots, I guess they're kind of dying back a little bit because they're kind of turning brown. Or maybe that's how mature they are. But either way, here's how this one looks like. I'm not planting it at soil level just because I am going to be adding compost as a top dress. And since I'm going to be doing that, with the, uh, I'll probably smother out these purslane and backfill it. But yeah, this compost, it's basically store-bought compost. I was just trying to amend it so it could be better for these plants. So um, over the winter, so basically around November time, I put this compost in a trash can, and I was letting it compost with um, old soil I wasn't using anymore, um, some rock dust I wasn't using anymore, and some biochar that I wasn't using anymore either. So it can get all the benefits of biochar, uh, compost, and rock dust. And I'm just putting a small layering on this so it can help feed soil and feed the plants. As you saw earlier, my native soil was completely dry, so instead of like a 5% watering, I probably do a 10% watering with my compost tea. And just because I noticed this purslane and I have purslane seeds, I want to make sure I am growing purslane with my peppers. Why? Just because purslane is full of omega-3s, so I want to be able to eat some purslane while the peppers are growing. And these are pepperoncini peppers, so they're great for pickling. Plus, I need more seeds to save because I basically ruined all the seeds that I had. Either because I let it die by accident or because they weren't growing. Okay, so the compost you saw earlier, I basically sifted it. So here's how it looks after all the bigger chunks been sifted out. So I'm gonna use this as my mulch layer. This way nothing's going to waste and we're using everything. If the purslane grows, great. If it doesn't grow, then that's fine. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. But um, later on this week, I'm gonna show you how I feed the peppers using compost tea. The extract is just so it can add biology to the soil. Also, with the compost extract, I put in a mycorrhiza inoculant to help inoculate the peppers, and I guess the purslane. I forgot what it's called for a second, but yeah, to help inoculate those two things, and hopefully they can help each other grow. If I get purslane, great. If I don't get purslane, I'm not gonna worry about it too much. And that's pretty much it on planting and top dressing and then adding in the mulch layer. I'm gonna do the same thing with the two other raised beds or grassroots flower plots. I'll do that real quick for you guys and then we'll get to watering. Okay guys, so this is the sandy soil and I just realized I forgot to add an ingredient to the previous container, and that's my favorite fertilizer, the Dr. Earth. This is the 222, so 2 phosphorus, potassium, and nitrogen. That's in the working order, but either way, that's what's in it. And ideally, I will add that first, and then the compost, and then the mulch. So if you're gonna copy me in on doing this, that's how I would do that. If you decide to add some fertilizer before adding the compost. Again, my sand is also really dry, so gonna have to water this pretty well also. You can see this one held on way better than the other one. Also, you can see a worm here. I don't know how well I can see that, but there's a worm here. So I guess this container is going to be inoculated with some worms. That's pretty cool. Again, I don't want to bury too deep, so I want a little bit higher. Again, it's just so when I add the compost, that's too high actually. When I add the compost and mulch, it can be somewhat leveled, as you saw with the previous one. Again, I want a good seed soil contact, so I'm going to press it down. And now some Dr. Earth fertilizer. I'm going to use pretty much a handful. And if you know anything about Dr. Earth, it has mycorrhiza inoculant in it also. So let's say you don't have mycorrhiza inoculant, you can use that instead, which I think is great. Now we just add some compost. Alright guys, so the previous container was sped up just because it's basically the same thing as the first one, and so is this one, but this one's the biochar and native soil compost. I forgot what I planted in here that's going to seed now, so either way I have to get rid of this. Maybe I can compost it or something. Um, this is definitely a weed. Compost that. Pretty sure this was a lettuce. Okay, anyway. I noticed there's a worm right here. I don't know how we can see that. And there's a nail. Here's the previous. I don't remember what was going here. Since it's been over a year since I made a video on these containers, so I don't know what I planted in here. At least I don't remember. And we're just gonna check on the soil. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be dry like everything else was. So again, another 10%. Oh wow, this one actually has a little bit of moisture. I guess there's a difference between biochar and native soil and sandy soil. And I'm pretty sure the worm came from here also because there was nothing on here until I placed this on top. The worm came out, I guess. Ugh. And here's how this looks with the worm compost. It looks pretty nice. So that's pretty cool. Just gonna put the soil back on. I'm gonna make sure it's nice and in. I didn't do that to the previous one because I forgot. Now add some dark earth fertilizer. Something I forgot to do on the first raised bed, but it's okay. You still got compost, so I'm not gonna worry about it too much. If anything, I just supplement it with some fresh fertilizer if it's not growing as well or the way I would like, or as well as I would like. But we'll see. But you can see this container has way chunkier biochar. Um, I don't remember what I was thinking when I was doing this. I think I was just thinking I didn't want to sift it, so or I didn't have a sifter at the time, so I didn't do it. But now that I have a sifter, I like to sift my biochar. Whatever is not broken down, at least I sift, and whatever it is broken down. Basically, I'm just separating what's broken down, what's not broken down. By the way, you might see a huge gap in these containers. Um, the only reason why it's like that is because I think I filled it up all the way initially, but I might not have. Either way, it's a good thing because you want enough space so you can add your organic matter like this. Or if you added, oh yeah, added organic matter like this, some compost or the mulch layer. Because if you have it too high, then it's not gonna work out the way you like. Because if you start watering, it's gonna flood out instead of being in the container. And because I noticed the two worms in here, I'm pretty sure the first one has worms now also, but I can't be 100% sure. It's gonna keep me motivated to keep these watered even more, or even better, since there's plants and oh shoot, I almost forgot the seeds. Since there's plants and worms gonna be living in here. So yeah, the soil in this one doesn't look too different between the first container. except for there being a lot more biochar. Besides that, it looks pretty much the same. And now we're gonna add some purslane. And yeah, I can't wait to see how these grow in these containers. And if you can't wait either and you want to see more updates, please to make sure to hit that subscribe button to keep up with me and my future gardening updates. Okay, now we can add the mulch. You can see the bottom part of the mulch, the more wet. It did rain a couple of days ago. It wasn't much, but I guess that was enough to get this moist, but not my containers. Okay, guys, and that's all the containers done. Now I'm just gonna get the compost extract with the mycorrhizae inoculant and water these in at 10%. And since these are 15 gallons, 10% is 1.5 gallons. So I'm just gonna water in. I'm gonna show you how I do it. And yeah, I'll be right back. All right, YouTube. So I have a 2 gallon um, sprayer over here. And like I said earlier, since this is 15 gallons and 10% of 15 gallons is 1.5 gallons, I'm gonna just do 1.5 gallons on all of these, making that what, 4.5 gallons, something like that. And if you remember, this one didn't get okay. Like I was saying earlier, with this one, I have to worry a little bit more about nitrogen because I didn't add that fertilizer. It may not make a difference, but we'll see. But as of right now, I'm gonna add 1.5 gallons of water to each of these. So I don't want to make this video too long. I'll just cut to when I'm done. Alright guys, so it's been almost a week since I planted all these peppers. Well, at least these. The ones in the 5 gallon black containers, I planted like 2 days after. So these were on the 5th, these were on the 7th. So yeah, I'm doing this video kind of early because it's gonna get extremely hot. Like I did yesterday, it shows up to 100, and today it might be 100 again. So I noticed that today that the soil on top is dry, and that's when I want to water, is when the soil on top is dry. And since they're not extremely dry like last time, I just have to water 5%. So that's why I'm not over watering. You can see this one transplanted pretty well. This one transplanted pretty well. This one is the only one that had a rough time. It died back a little bit, or a lot, should I say. Hopefully, it'll come back up again, but we'll see. These, I don't remember what plants or what peppers these are. That's why I put them in different containers. And yeah, I guess we'll see in later months to see what kind of peppers these are. This should be an experiment. But yeah, instead of watering the full 1.5 gallons of water, I'm gonna water just 0.75 gallons, or 3/4 of a gallon. So this can go a little bit longer. And yeah, because I want the stem to get stronger, I added liquid calcium into my watering treatment. Excuse me. And calcium makes your plant stronger, so hopefully the calcium I added will do that. And the calcium I have is like 5%. So I diluted it in water. It says 1 to 2 tablespoons per gallon of water. So I just added 1 tablespoon just because I want to do a light uh, watering, and I don't want to overfeed it just in case. Once I notice that the plants are growing, that's when I start giving them more nitrogen because they'll be in the stretch phase. So that's a different video entirely. I don't want to make this video too long. It's already long enough. So I'm going to water this in and be right back with you guys. All right, YouTube. So I gave them all calcium. um, the foliar spray. In the future, I did add biochar to the sprayer. The future, I won't do that because it took forever to come out. So yeah, that's just one thing I'll add right here. But either way, guys, I finished watering these peppers with some calcium. Hopefully, it'll do a lot better in the future. And you probably notice these cages. I'm using it so when they start growing, hopefully when they bear fruit, it'll be easier for the plants to uh, set fruit. And also, because it is getting so hot, I'm gonna set a shade cloth on top of these so uh, it doesn't get too hot. Like I said, it's getting up to 100 today, and it'll dry out my soil really quickly. So even though I put a lot of mulch, it still dries out pretty quickly. So shade cloth will help it um, not get too hot or dry out so quickly. So I'm gonna add that. It'll be the last thing I do today, and then we'll end the video. All right, YouTube. So here's how this area looks like after it's been covered with the shade cloth. I'm pretty sure this is 30% shade cloth. You could do 30 or 50. I'm only doing 30 because it's what I have. But you don't want it too dark, otherwise your plants will die from not enough light. But yeah, guys, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, this is the end of episode 1 of growing pepperoncini peppers in 15-gallon grassroots flower pots. And I guess experiment containers, growing whatever peppers that I don't remember where I planted are now. But yeah, guys, again, thank you for watching. Hopefully you stick around, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you next video. Peace.